Welcome to the Hillbilly RV channel. This is a video on using your multimeter for beginners. This is a video that I've been thinking about doing for a long time. I've had several people request it. I just couldn't really figure out how to do it because there's just so many meters out there. From basic analog meters to digital meters, different kinds of meters. As you'll see, I have quite a selection myself. So yeah, I'm going to go over as many of them and their different features as I possibly can. So yeah, sit back and if you are a very beginner or maybe even slightly advanced, not too advanced because that's past me, but if you want to learn how to use your multimeter, then by golly, you're in the right place. So let me spin y'all around here, show you the meters that I have and their different uses, and then we'll go from there. Then we'll actually do some testing. Here are the meters that I have. As you can see, I have a few extra. My fluke meter is my main multimeter. That is one I use 90% of the time. And this amp clamp, it's a Craftsman amp clamp. It's a multimeter. But to be honest with you, I never use the multimeter part of this. I just use the amp clamp just because it really works very well, especially if you're checking AC circuits. And we are going to talk just a little bit here in just a minute about the difference between AC and DC circuits. I have backups that I carry in the van with me in case one takes a poo. And I've got this old meter that I don't even know where I came up with that. That is a very, very cheap Craftsman meter that I picked up a few years ago just to have around the house. So I didn't have to be looking for a meter all the time. And this is a no contact meter. We will talk about that in a little bit. I don't really care for those. Now I know people do, and that's fine. I don't. You're supposed to just be able to put it close to a wire and it'll light up and beep if there's power. I found them to be this one here is just very inconsistent. So I never used it much, didn't like it. It almost got me bit several times and I just never did use it. This is not a multimeter. This is just it has one use. Plug it into a receptacle, 110 volt receptacle. It has lights on it. It'll tell you whether the receptacle is wired correctly, and it'll tell you how much voltage you have. This is super handy, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. I am not going to go into the theory of electricity right here. To be honest with you, I don't know it. I just know how it works, and if you don't respect it and you do something stupid, it hurts, or it can do a lot of damage. So that's really all I know about that. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on YouTube. If you want to know the theory of electricity, go check those out. We are going to be talking about AC current. All right, that is alternating current. That is what you have in your house. And if you have an RV, a lot of your RV has AC power. Now DC power, direct current, that's what runs your cars, your trucks, and a lot of your RV. Probably not in the house. About the only place I know of that you're going to find DC voltage in your house is your thermostat for your HVAC and maybe your doorbell. That's all I know of. It's because they have little transformers that turn AC power into DC, low voltage stuff, to run those controls for your HVAC and your doorbell. Okay, but since I work on RVs, that's where we're going to focus on RVs. And RVs have, AC power is a big part of it, DC power is a big part of it. You got to have both to make everything work. So we're just going to call these AC and DC from here on out, but know that AC is alternating current, DC is direct current. This is usually battery voltage. So now we are going to get our meters out. We're going to turn them on, and we're going to show you just some really super basic things that you can do with your meters. Is your meter going to be exactly like my meters? No. I can guarantee you. Like I said, I have my favorites to do certain things with. I have my others to do other things with. And but you know, I mean, I'm a professional, so I have multiple multimeters. You may only have one, and that's fine. Just learn to use it. So let's get started here. Let's start out down here at a receptacle. This is in my house. It is just like the ones you have in your camper. I've got my little Craftsman meter that I've got here in the house. I've got it set on the AC scale. Here's VDC, that's voltage for DC scale. VAC, that is voltage for AC scale. Hopefully you can see the LCD screen. Now, if you were wanting to check this outlet, you could go from ground to one side of the outlet. And see, I'm not getting anything. Okay, let's go both sides of the outlet, still not getting any. That's why I don't like trying to use a multimeter to check an outlet. That's why I have this. This plugs in. We have two green lights, so we know the circuit is good, and I can see it, but you can't. Right on top it says 120 to, it's bouncing between 120 and 121 volts. So we know this outlet is good. Okay, can you see both green lights? I believe you can. But yeah, that's why when I'm checking a receptacle, I do not ever use a multimeter. I will always use this little meter right here. And I believe I have these in my Amazon store. I think I'll have all this stuff in my Amazon store. I have a good multimeter. I've got this receptacle meter. I've got a whole bunch of stuff in there. Go check it out. If you don't know how to get to the store, go to hillbillyrv.net. You will find a link to my Amazon store. The link will also be in the description of this video. So if you want to go to my Amazon store, go check that out. All right, we're going to take just a minute and we're going to talk about each one of these meters individually. This is my Fluke 85. This is my go-to meter. Okay, hopefully you can see this dial. Turn the dial one time and it tells you we're checking AC scale. Now these are they're auto ranging. They're auto ranging, so you always have to pay attention to where the decimal point's at, okay? Because right now it's reading 105, 110 volts, but it's millivolts. Right out here, maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. It says millivolts. So if we were checking a circuit and we were getting, now see, I picked the leads up and that changed. Yeah, see that? That's how sensitive these things are. Okay, it's just reading the voltage, the little bit of voltage that's in my body. Okay, so if we were checking a circuit and we seen this, if we weren't paying attention to the little MV, it means that's millivolts. It can throw you. We go one more. That's our DC voltage. Okay, it's completely different. So it's not reading. Well, it is reading my body just a little bit. Yeah, maybe. The next one, that's for millivolts. I never use that. You may. This one on this is ohms and microfarads, and I guess it will also test, what are those called? The little one-way thingies. Power will go one way, but power won't go the other. I have no idea what that is. Never used it. No idea. Never use it. No idea. Never use it. I use that, and I use my AC and DC voltage. Okay. Now let's turn that one off. This is an amp clamp. This is what I use to read AC and DC amperage. This is not super accurate, but it's non-evasive. You just stick your wire on it. We're going to show you that here in a minute. Just stick your wire through that hoop, close the hoop, and it'll tell you how many amps that wire is drawing, or that circuit is drawing at this time. And yes, this is a multimeter. We can check AC and DC, but to be honest with you, I just never use it for that. I can. It's a good backup meter. This one is going to be identical to the Craftsman. This is a south wire. and it is an amp clamp. Now this one will not do DC amperage. My Craftsman will do AC and DC amp clamp, but this one's AC only. And again, it's a multimeter as well, and got all your different dials. This one does temperature. It has a little temperature probe, came with it. Put it on temperature, Celsius and Fahrenheit, and other than that, it's pretty much like the other two that I've already showed you. This is an old Greenlee that I picked up, and again, it's an amp clamp, but it only does AC amperage. I used to just carry this in a work bag in a place I used to work, and used it for that. Now here's my little Craftsman that I keep in the house just in case I want to check something real quick. You know, a flashlight battery or whatever. This one, the AC scale's over here, VAC, DAC over here, and you got your different ranges. Now this one does not auto range as much as my Fluke. So if you're checking DC power with this meter, if you're checking your car or your camper, you better have it on 20 volts. So it'll read 20 and or less volts DC. If you're in a coal mine and you're working with electric equipment, or maybe even a hybrid car nowadays, it's got a 200 amp scale and it's got a 600 amp scale. If you're checking high voltage DC, you better have it on that scale. AC, we got two scales, 600 and 200. So 200 will read 200 down, 600 is from 600 down. Okay. It does have DC amperage. To be honest with you, I just don't use my meters for that. And it's got all kinds of different settings for ohms. It's got multiple settings, so make sure you know what you're trying to check. I think this is a beep for the ohms. Yeah. Okay. Just like my Fluke. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But yeah, those are my basic meters, and they may not look just like yours, but they're going to be very similar. So now I have some electricity here, so let's start checking some electricity. And now for this, we're going to use my amp clamp, and we're going to use my Fluke meter. Okay, we could use any of these meters for this, but I'm just going to use these. So let me get these ones out of the way. All right, now here I have an AC wire, and it is just plugged into an extension cord in a receptacle over here in my house. Okay, and I've got some wagos on here just for safety, so I don't touch the wires and shock myself. So let's put our meter on the AC scale. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this. One thing I wish this meter had was a prop on the back, so you prop this meter up, but it does not. Let me set it up there. Yeah, I think I can see it. Alright, so let's say that we were wondering if this AC circuit is good, or it's wired correctly, or there has power on it at all. Alright, first thing I'm going to do, green is ground, white is neutral, black is load or the power. Alright, let's go. It's really cool with these wagos because you can actually clamp it. You can close it. Let's go from ground to our load, and we have 121.2 volts. Okay, let's disconnect from the ground and go to neutral. We always want to check both. You want to check your ground and your neutral. Okay, again, from neutral to the load, we have 121.2. This is a good circuit. It is an awesome circuit. It's working just like it's supposed to. So we know this is a good circuit. Okay, now let's do some DC. Let's put our meter on DC. Now I have a 12 volt Milwaukee battery here. Now let's pretend for a minute that we were checking a DC circuit in your camper and your car, whatever, and you didn't know, say these are not marked, you don't know what is ground and what is hot. All right, no problem. We can figure that out real quick. So let's just put our black lead on this wire, or well, try and do it without it falling off, and our red one there. Okay. All right, we have 12.12 volts DC. But we got a negative. What's that tell us? That tells us we know that this one is the ground. Okay? Because it's giving us a negative number. If we turn these around, put the black on the black, which we know is black because it's got the black on it, the red to the red, we have 12.12 without the minus sign. So we know that this is the positive and this is the negative. Easy peasy. Like I say, you can go, when you're checking DC circuits, you don't have to know which is power and ground. Your meter will tell you real quick which is which. Alright, now I told you that RVs have a lot of AC current in them and a lot of DC. Well, here's where it converts AC power to DC power to charge your batteries, run your lights, all the other 12 volt systems in your camper. This one is blowed up. It's had 220 volts put in it. But let's pretend like this is just the guts of the converter. Okay, let's pretend this is wired into your power distribution panel over here. Your black's going to go to a breaker, your green's going to go to ground, your white's going to go to your neutral bus bar. Okay, let's say we were wondering if this thing was working. These are DC wires. These would typically be going to the little DC power distribution panel, which is typically right beside all this other. So just for grins and giggles, let's pretend this is installed. We would have our meter on the AC scale. We would go from ground to the hot or the black or the load, and we would normally see 120 volts. Okay, and then we would do this, go from neutral to our hot or our load, and we should get the same value. Okay, either ground or neutral. All right, so let's say we have good AC power going into this converter. All right, still doesn't seem right. It's not charging our battery. Our batteries are dying. Our lights aren't working right. Let's go put our meter on DC scale, go from ground to the hot, and we should see 13.3 volts DC coming out of this. If we don't see anything but battery voltage, say the battery's got 6 volts in it, and we hook up to these DC wires here at our power distribution panel, our DC power distribution panel, and we're getting 6 volts, well then we know that's just battery voltage. So our converter's bad. Okay, it ain't putting out DC power. So it's time to just change it. The other place that campers mix AC and DC power is in an inverter. That was a converter. It converts AC power into DC power to charge your battery, run all your DC circuits. An inverter inverts DC power to AC power to run like a residential refrigerator or something like that. Okay, I don't have an inverter here, but it's the same principle. If the camper's unplugged and you've got battery voltage going in one side of the inverter where the battery voltage goes in, but you have no AC voltage coming out of the other side, she's smoked. Time for a new one. So yeah, those are pretty easy to diagnose. I've got tons of videos on converters. We just don't work on a lot of inverters. Honestly, don't even know if I have a video on an inverter, but it's just the same principle, only backwards. Is that clear as mud? Let's say you want to test a start capacitor in your air conditioner. Okay, the tag on the capacitor will give you the microfarad value of this one. This one is a 45 plus 5. Okay, plus or minus 6 or 8%. I can't quite read that. All right, so how would we test that? Well, we would put our meter on that U shape. That is microfarads. And if you're testing a capacitor and yours it looks anything like that, you don't have to test it. If the top's all blowed out like that, or it's leaking oil, it ain't no good. So just go ahead and replace it. I know y'all will never be able to see it because I can barely see it. This one says C for common. This one says fan. This one says Herm. This is the compressor. This is the fan. This is the common. So let me put. This is one reason I like these leads on this meter, because I've got these little alligator clips that really handy. Frees up your hands. Let's go from. Let's see if this works. Let's go from common to Herm. Okay. See what we get. 4.7. So this is auto ranging. So it said 45 plus or minus 6%. So yes, it is 5.2 whatever. So that's really close to 45. It's 54. Okay. Let's go to fan, and I think we get the same value. No, here's the fan. We're getting about half that value. Okay, but this is a good capacitor. Now don't expect me to explain to you why it's reading 5 point whatever, but just know that it says 45 plus or minus 6%. We were getting 50 something, so this is a good capacitor. Alright, let's show you how the amp clamp works. This is my panel box in my house. This is one of my air conditioner circuits over here. The air conditioner is running today, and hopefully you can see that. That circuit right now is pulling 15.5 amps. Okay. If that air conditioner goes off, that's probably going to go to 0. But yeah, that's see, I forget what this one is. I think it's the water heater. It's not on right now. This is another part of the air conditioner, I believe. No, but anyhow, but that's how it works. You just clip that amp clamp right on the wire, and it'll tell you how many amps that circuit is pulling right now. Alright, let's go over checking continuity real quick. Now this meter here, if you just put it on continuity test, you know, you'll see that the meter will go, I think you can see that. You put the leads together, the meter goes pretty much to 0. That's how much. I mean, no meter is going to be perfect. Alright. Now this one here has a beep, which I like to use just because you don't have to be looking at your meter. If you're checking continuity on wires and stuff, you don't have to be looking at your meter. I push that beep button and it beeps when we have continuity. Okay. Now I've got this. This is a 25-foot extension cord, and this is the one that we were doing our tests with, showing you how to test AC circuit. So let's just go. Let's put one lead on the hot wire, and here's the other end of that extension cord, and we can just take and put our probe on there. I hope y'all can see that meter, but it doesn't really matter. I got the beep on. So which one do you think is our black wire? Is it that one? No, of course, that's our ground, right? And I forget, I think, oh, there it is. There's our black wire, okay, this one. And this is going to be our white wire, okay? So let's say you were wondering if this cord was good. You know, it seems iffy. It's not wanting to work right, okay? We're checking the black wire. Black wire's good. Let's switch over to the white wire. Okay, that's going to be that one. Okay. Hey, the white wire's good. Well, is the ground okay? Let's switch over to ground. And the ground's good also. So that cord is good. That circuit is good. So at that point, if we were testing that cord or that circuit, we know it's good. Those wires are good from point A to point B. That's all continuity test is telling us. So there you have it. Just a really quick and dirty how to use your multimeter for beginners. Hopefully this made sense to you. But if you really want to get good with your multimeter, use it every day. Do something with it. Check something. If you don't know how to do it, YouTube it, Google it, figure it out, and you'll learn your meter, and then you'll be very proficient when it comes time. If you need to check something, or you need to check for something for somebody else, boom, you're in there. You'll be the hero. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. As always, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.